Καλησπέρα.
Hello. You listened to the story about Mr. Kellas. I don't know if Mr. Famellos wants to comment on the absence of the Deputy Minister. We will stick to the process. He will say things that would be helpful to Mr. Papagiannidis, myself, and you all, because we want also your participation. Interaction is very important to discuss with him. So start the conversation, President, and we will follow you. Thank you. Thank you very much for this warm welcome, the organizers, for being here, and AgriBusiness Forum in the region of Thessaly, the chambers. It is the second time that I find myself in Larissa in the last 2 weeks. I said to the governor that I'm happy to come here for good reasons and not for problems such as the smallpox of goat and sheep. I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky, but the developments are rapid when it comes to the farming economy, to the agricultural economy sector. And this is why, since we discussed yet another committee on OPEKP, OPEKP is the Payment and Control Agency for Guidance and Guarantee Community Aid. This was a big scandal that they have stolen €1 million from farmers. It was aid that was supposed to be given to the farmers. Therefore, now the subsidies are not paid. And this is also due to the mistake of the government, since they did not comply with the control that the European Commission has imposed to OPEKP, to this agency for the payment and control, as well as for the guarantee of the community aids. So the Greek farmers have lost a lot of money, and yet another time we keep discussing about the plan of regional and agricultural development, as well as for a destructive domino to the Greek region and especially to Thessaly, that a part of the other problems has extra problems, since it suffers from the effects of Daniel still. The smallpox issue, of course, of goat and sheep. It is one of the regions that were affected the most for the time being. And, of course, the problem of OPEKP. However, these were not the reasons why I chose to participate to this forum. I want to be completely frank with you why I came here. Not because Mr. Kellas was supposed to be here, who chose not to be. I wanted to be here because Syriza wants to participate in a fruitful conversation on regional development and the agricultural production in the primary sector. And I say that frankly, we do not have an adequate productive model in Greece. We don't have a very strong primary and secondary sector. This is not the case. When it comes to the recovery fund and all the other private funding, we haven't done enough. So one reason why I'm here is because I want to discuss about the primary product for Greece, its contribution to GDP, and the improvement of the relationship of farmers to the GDP. Because the Greek GDP doesn't go to the people that actually produce it, not only when it comes to farmers, but also to SMEs and workers. And it goes back to capital managers, if I may say so. The second initiative for my participation is the isolation of the regions, and this is also happening near urban centers. It is combined with the demographic problem of Greece. This is not the only issue, but a large part, a national issue, if you wish, is the isolation of the regions, the desertification of the regions. Of course, social factors should be taken into consideration, but economy is important. Those are the two reasons why I came here to represent Syriza, because they have a financial dimension. One might also say, why have you forgotten resilience? I haven't forgotten resilience. Resilience is a horizontal factor in all policies. It is not only connected to climate crisis, but I have discussed a lot of things in agribusiness about resilience, because this was also my, let's say, sectoral interest. Dear friends, we have to be clear with ourselves. Things are not going well. We have to talk frankly and clearly, because we are already one step after the cliff. We are already falling down that cliff. Those are policies, political choices, that are not symptoms that would happen either way. And external factors are not the only ones to blame. Either we're talking about geopolitics and climate crisis. So this is not a crisis, it is a climate destruction. But in Greece, we have serious policy problems. There are political choices of the government of Mr. Mitsotakis, and I want to be concise. One has to choose politics. Do we have a state that cares for everyone, or do we are we in favor of the extra profits of the few? The money leaves the market and goes only to a few selected. This is also a political matter. If you are going to steal the money from farmers, or if you are going to have a national strategy for animal breeding and agriculture. So Mr. Mitsotakis decided that we will not have a national strategy, but OPKP, this agency for the aids, will be given to specific persons that have agreements with the government. And this is why I say that this is a scandal of New Democracy, of the political party of New Democracy. So either we're talking about farmers or SMEs. Mr. Mitsotakis promised back in 2019 exactly the opposite. And now we are paying a lot for that mistake. We are in a very grave situation, and this is what I came here to discuss. Syriza made a different choice after the great change, because we also had to rebuild the credibility of our operations. After I have been elected as president, the first program that we announced was the program for agriculture. 6 pillars, starting from the cost of production. They take into consideration the land workers. They include measures for fighting climate crisis and destruction, how we should structure the new common agricultural policy, the cash flow issue, and the associations and the collaborations issue. For a lot of those issues, for example, the cost of production, we have submitted bills in the parliament about the lower electricity cost for farmers. What you should know is that there is an assessed solution, an assessed proposal that has been assessed by the General Accounting Agency of the state. This has been our own priority, my personal priority, but I want to highlight the contribution of Vasilis Kokalis and Stavros Arachovitis and Pavlos Polakis. We drafted this first because this was the first element of a collaborative operation in Syriza. At the same time, along with the agricultural policy, we introduced the issue of a strong state, because agricultural policy without a strong state is non-existent. The self-administration should be strong and the planning should be sound. The market should be controlled and its operations. And right now, Daniel is a case of a lack of a sound and central state. I will mention a few examples in order to fuel this discussion. Greece in 2018, where I was Minister of Environment and Energy, completed the first plans of the first anti-flood plans. We haven't implemented that until that point, and we completed them even if we were a country without money. Those anti-flood, those flood defenses plans, the government of Mr. Mitsotakis did not update them, and now we are sent to the European Court. They have to be completed in 2021, but New Democracy government did not complete them. So we are a step behind. And scientists kept sending risk signals, but the government has abandoned that effort. My plans describe the flood of Palama and those neighboring areas. We had the plan what is going to flood, and the scientists have spoken. However, Mr. Mitsotakis sanctioned the sciences, and this is why he fired them. He fired the scientists that did their job. Right now, what is the case right now? I listened to the people saying that 2 years later, the compensation for the animal capital for the tree crops and have not been given, have not been paid back to the people. More also for the infrastructure that has been lost, the money were not given. How can people stay in Thessaly? And in my opinion, if this is a plan, if this is not a plan, Mr. Mitsotakis should come here and say that the opposite. So I accuse Mr. Mitsotakis that he is not giving the compensation because he wants farmers to stop producing. He wants the funds from abroad, from the Netherlands, to come here and buy the land. He didn't pay back the people for the animal capital. He just wanted to bring a company that has expertise in the colonies of the Netherlands to plant something here, and he wanted to privatize irrigation. In my opinion, he could have given water free to the farmers. This is the sanction of Mr. Mitsotakis to Thessaly. And I conclude with the problem of the pox, of the smallpox. Syriza came here, and we had a good collaboration with the governor, and we presented our proposals how to combat smallpox. It has been affecting a lot of goat and sheep because the public administration did not take the necessary measures. Now we have 10 days and after those 10 days, we have been waiting from the ministry to listen if we will go to a lockdown or not. And the ministry announced nothing. After those 10 days, the animal farmers know nothing at all. 25 disinfection centers have been announced, but the 15 of those 25 are already existing. Without a scientific center to manage smallpox that will be an immediate connection with the farmers, with physicians that will be helping the farmers, we cannot do anything at all. Those are the big problems in front of us. So, therefore, I came here in order to discuss all those issues, national choices, in my opinion, and Thessaly has been suffering without any help, and the local actors are not capable to do a lot, since we have a government that wants to make the rich richer and wants to send farmers away from their land. Therefore, I want to be polite, but the result is that this government should go away. This is a destructive government in order to allow Greece to stand back at its feet. The truth is, President, that when I gave you the floor to start this conversation, I didn't have in mind that you will be so generous towards us, the journalists. Meaning that you were very sharp, you were very angular, if you wish, and since the governor of Thessaly is here, he can also say if he found flood defense plans and if we have still subsidies that have not been paid and compensations that have not been paid back to the farmers. So you have created a very lively environment. So we start, Mr. Papagiannidis, the floor to you.
Look, I feel hospitalized twice. First of all, because I come from Athens. Can you hear me? Yes. So I live in Athens, so I have a distance from the problems as well as from the agri-food sector. So I have thought to answer, to ask you and Mr. Kellas as well, you, the politicians, because this panel, this session is about political tasks. Apart from the policy, the political tasks, how much do you really know things about the agricultural sector, about the agri-food sector? What is your contact with this? But I would like to ask you, finally, responsibilities belong to the past. Finally, the government will be judged by the electoral body. So I have seen OPKP, the Payment and Control Agency for Guidance and Guarantee Community Aid, to be born, and after 2 or 3 months it emerged. I can understand that malfunctions there have always been. So I would have asked Mr. Kellas, and now I'm asking you. Number one, can we save, let's say, the thing, and how might Mr. Hatzidakis is going to go to Brussels, and he will be in front of a very unpleasant, let's say, environment. So how could he save the situation? What he could do? This is the first thing. The second thing is, and this is strong, there are it is said that we might lose resources. So the loss of resources has a microeconomic impact, but also a macroeconomic impact. Probably, okay, I'm going to change my car mark and I'm going to buy another one. But what are the impact, the microeconomic impact? And third, there is a negotiation with CAP. What if you were a government, you were at the government, what would you do in this field in case you were a government? So, first thing first. The first is the OPKP. I wanted to express my that I'm completely adversary to this, throwaway of responsibility of this situation. Let me tell you that all these things, the OPKP loss was paid by the Greek citizens, and especially the farmers. But apart from this, so the problem is not the employees of the thing is that we need another body as well. Of course, OPKP should not be led to the financial tax authority, and of course, probably will lead to the loss of some problems of this scandal. The thing is that OPKP should be reinforced and function upon the Ministry of Agricultural Development. But let me know, OPKP cannot function at the Greek rural land with the mistakes and the losses of the past. Programs and initiatives stopped when the government when the political department of New Democracy took the government. So this is one of the greatest problems we had to the land registry. When Mr. Pierakakis was the minister, we accepted the land registry in order to, to close the open cases we had. So OPKP at the Ministry of Agricultural Development with the proper know-how and clear and safe and sound environment. Moreover, now the country has hasn't already received 600 million euros, along with the subsidies that haven't been delivered to the farmers as well. This has an impact to the local economy and also to very important issue for the farmers. So it affects the micro and the micro level. There is an impact in the micro and micro level. So this loss, these damages will be paid by the farmers and, generally speaking, by the electoral body. So we have also, I have read this, 60 million of recycling fine. This is paid by the electoral body. This is paid by the citizens. So the third thing you said, what would you do as far as the CAB interaction negotiation is concerned? I would answer whatever we have to do. A special measure for the remaining at the rural land, change of the strategy. This is what we said to the discussion, the change of the strategy, because it should be as well connected with resilience. And to me, it's necessary and it's a matter of fact, it's given. But due to my permanent reference to the climate and environmental issues. But after a lot of problems and after a lot of damages, we now forget the green concession and we focus on other problems. I would like to remain a little bit to the problem of OPKP. I understood that to your answer you criticized yourself as well. You said that we didn't have the proper tools to give a result with all the mechanism. Actually, you said that you didn't have the chance to give the healthy OPKP. I didn't say that. I said that we never delayed the compensation to the farmers. This is a very different thing. Now, with the political part of New Democracy at the government, everything is delayed. Of course, there were farmers that broke the law, and it was revealed, and of course, and indeed existed. But what happens with the political part of New Democracy, the political responsibility, I don't accept this accusation, and I'm very strict as far as this is concerned. I demand the transparency. Of course, the technical solution was the choice of the current government. Of course, I don't accuse them because it was able to be implemented as a European directive, and this happened. But the thing is why they let this fall apart. What you asked is what you do, what we did. The forest maps started upon Syriza governance, and we fight for that. The subsidies were stopped, among them the irrigation subsidies. The land registry issues moved on. So we prepared the tool for a digital Greece. Then the excellence came and destroyed everything. And yes, I accuse them for that. You started your proposals talking about the pressure to the farmers. And you accused the government, and finally we understood that it wasn't European Union that implemented these directives, but it's a national choice, isn't it? No. Europe put us under surveillance because Greece hasn't been complied with the fact that should send to Europe a verified documentation, certification. So the thing is that we have 600 million that are not delivered in 2024. And what I think is that seeing what happens now with the smallpox, this very offensive for the farmers, insufficiency of the government, plus the money stolen from for the farmers, is a matter of fact that we have to accuse the government for this.
When it comes to agricultural matters, Syriza, when you took the power in 2015, was elected by the agricultural people, the people that live in the regions. And then those people voted next time for New Democracy. It is very easy to go back to 1519. Farmers care about how they're going to live now in 2025. When we were in government, we did our best, and sometimes not on our interest as a political party, because we wanted to lead Greece out of the memorandum of agreement. It was our government that did it. So it is. We are proud of the fact that, with the help of the people of Greece, led the country out of the memorandum of understanding. So, in contrast with this government, compared to this government, I don't want to compare. I don't care about comparisons. However, this government implements very strict financial measures for a lot of people, and only rich people get richer. This is a big difference compared to our government with our clean, transparent way of governing. Since you started talking about the past. In 2019, Syriza paid. And people sometimes do not think on the long term. Electors are very wild animals, if I may say so. However, the peoples of the region continued not voting for you. New Democracy continued to win until 2023. This second part, should it be of concern for you? Because there is an answer. Voted for New Democracy due to that scandal with OPKP. But what about the other regions? In this new era of Syriza, we are working on self-criticizing our party. And of course, I agree with you, a lot of things could have been done better, but I know also our opponent. And unfortunately, the farmers understand it now, and they pay a very high price because they believed the lies and the propaganda of New Democracy. New Democracy wanted to support the governments in the words, but it hasn't supported them. One of the great problems that we have today, because we are living in times that people cannot pay the supermarket bills, cannot buy the physicians, cannot educate their children. These are the everyday problems. So they have lost the trust to politicians. This is what concerns me. Because since the government has used all the propaganda tools, nowadays they can convince society that we are all the same, because they just want to keep farmers in their homes. They don't want, the government doesn't want people to go out and protest. They try to convince us that this is the case. Syriza has chosen to stand alone and stand against. We will tell you the truth, and we will tell you what can be done with documentation, with proof. Because, of course, the people did not trust us for a specific period in time. And we didn't like what we have experienced in Syriza 1.5 years ago. We have to go back in order to give the politics a new trustworthiness. However, this is not only due to Syriza. If we want to discuss the mistakes of the past, those mistakes are not only due to Syriza. Today, we pay the mistake of a government of corruption. I believe that this is the end, or we should all work together for a brighter future. We will discuss for Syriza. AgriBusiness has been covered. You said that you're open to a frank discussion. I would like to give the floor to the governor, because he has to leave, because he is managing a lot of important issues. He has been governor for 21 months, Mr. Sokratis. And Mr. Sokratis, kindly join us if you wish. We have been working for a lot of time with Mr. Sokratis. He can also talk about the subsidies from Daniel and the compensations, and if he found flood defense plans. Is it for private persons to have flood defenses? Is it for private enterprises to have anti-flood plans? Thank you very much for this mention and for this invitation. First of all, when we assumed the government of the region in 2024, we had to manage a very difficult situation, and nobody knew how to do that. Nobody knew where this difficult period will end. So the main problem that we found in May 2024 When the master plan of the company of the Netherlands has been submitted, it had two goals, so to say, the defense for the floods and the agricultural development plan, where we had a completely different plan. The company from the Netherlands was completely different. We kept only the flood defenses from their proposal. And it was proven that Thessaly didn't have any plans for flood defenses at all. This has been proven in June 2024, when there was a large program from the Ministry of Infrastructure that included Thessaly with 100 million euros, and we couldn't submit a proposal because we had no study at all. The anti-flood master plan by the company of the Netherlands did not include technical studies. So we couldn't petition, we couldn't request for money. So we started not only to try and rebuild the infrastructure in Thessaly, we have almost completed that. And if you want to visit Farkadona, Palamas, all those villages that were affected, you can talk with them and they will discuss with you. They will say to you what is happening in Trikala and Pilion. So at the same time, we wanted and we tried to draft a plan of flood protection, of flood defenses. So we opened a call for tenders 2 months ago about the whole river of Famellos, from the beach of the sea to Kalabaka, and those technical studies will be delivered in spring of 2026, and the projects will start. We should revisit the whole budget, and from the 500 millions that we will get from the EU, we only had 5 millions for flood defenses. We did that, we raised that 50 million euros, and we changed the budget. We changed a lot of actions and measures. We tried, therefore, to build what was not there. Those projects will start because right now we're trying to rebuild the infrastructure without technical studies. Now the work that we do is without scientific studies. The new projects will start in spring 2026 for 1 year. We are talking about short-term projects or medium-term. At the same time, this plan for the floods, it was proven that the mountain dams could offer protection to the 7 water catchment basins that are included in the water catchment management plan of Thessaly. This meant that the Minister of Environment should start to do studies from some European programs. We found 250 millions, and right now those projects will start in the beginning of 2026. Until the summer of 2027, we will have nothing new when it comes to anti-flood defenses. We are not magicians. When from 2010 until 2014, there were only 3 million every year for anti-flood defenses to conjure something out of nothing. However, this is the one reading. The other side of the coin is the projects for the lack of water. We're talking about big dams. about the projects on water scarcity. And we don't know the timelines for the dam of Enippeas, for the dam of Pilis, of the dam of Mouzaki. If the initial plan talked about 2014, if those have been built, the Karla would not have flooded, and we could save 35% of that water. However, imagine that tomorrow we will have a rainfall at Pilion in Zagora for 1 day and a half, 150 milliliters. This is something manageable. Imagine that in Thessaly we have 500 milliliters per year. All those years, why haven't we left this water to go towards the sea? Why haven't we invested so as to collect that water and to be able to use that water? Right now, I have to plan as a governor without knowing the water that will fall in Thessaly in 2 or 3 years. So apart from our own projects, very shortly, yesterday, we should also announce the timeline of how we are going to fight water scarcity in Thessaly. Because last summer we had a dispute with Odith because Odith was established last summer, but the ministerial decisions were not issued. I don't know if we have the president here. I talk with him all the time, Odith. So they are waiting for the ministerial decisions. So taking the responsibility for water management should become reality. No, we are still waiting for the ministerial decisions. We have proposed something that will take place within the next weeks. The president and I will share with the people which are the responsibilities of Elviv and the responsibilities of the region of Thessaly. People should be aware about our own responsibilities. Before you leave the room, do not forget to mention the smallpox. I will not go away before the end of the government. I want to go to Volos, but since we have the president of Syriza here, I will stay here. I will be late for my next... Now, when it comes to smallpox, right now, Thessaly is doing rather well. The cases keep decreasing, while in other areas of the country keep increasing. We have 27 cases per week. There are other prefectures that have 27 new cases every day. It is true that the disinfection stations operate for the last 2 months. We have increased them in 16 since last Monday. And do you believe that? How do you believe that we will solve that problem? I don't know. We are fighting this good fight. Smallpox. So the ministry should announce the cases because we should be able to know what is happening. There is no transparency. Something that we should tackle is the following. When you invite an animal farmer to stay within the territory, their land, because they don't have money to feed their flock, this farmer will go out in secret. He will allow the animals to graze if they don't have money to buy feed. So the smallpox will finish sooner or later. What about the next day? What about the next day in the livestock breeding in Thessaly? Are we going to repeat the same mistakes, or are we going to do better? We should achieve a consensus between all political parties I don't believe that we will have such big differences. So, in my opinion, we have to showcase those issues. When it comes to the responsibilities, because I've heard that the region this last summer did not bury some dead animals. We didn't have licenses to bury those animals. Veterinarians work around the clock. Work around the clock. They are fighting the fight. It is very important. And of course, they are very tired. All the veterinarians in Thessaly, they are very tired. In 2012, we have 92 veterinarians, and right now we employ only 43. However, they cannot work around the clock. At some point, that will finish, and we will have to be ready with a plan for the next day for the Greek animal farming, livestock breeding, if we want to have farmers. If we don't want, this is a decision. Thank you very much. Mr. Balakakis, I believe that Mr. Kellas is not here due to the smallpox. I can vouch for that. Mr. Papagiannidis, you shouldn't vouch for other people. This is a rather risky business. In my opinion, Mr. Kellas, who is a rather likable person, you said that he is a rather likable. He doesn't like fighting. He will be sorry that he missed this meeting. The governor, do we have any farmers here in the room? Are there any farmers? Are you animal farmers or you're farmers? You farm the land. Okay, you don't have animal. The governor and you, President, mentioned a very peculiar word, something about consensus, something about agreeing. This peculiar concept of consensus, this exotic bird, if you wish. Do you believe that can this become a reality, at least for part of the political system in Greece? Consensus is a very trendy word if you want to hide the problems. Because most of the times the people that are responsible say, let's come, I want consensus, I want everyone to agree. So the need of the society to operate in a cohesive manner, the need to respect its members, that need has been hijacked by the people in power to cover their problems. This government that has the responsibility not only of a policy that favors some classes compared to some others, but also is responsible for corruption scandals. So we cannot achieve consensus with that government. And that would be also offensive to us. When a government accepts that the chief of the military is monitored and followed, you understand that this is a breach of the Constitution. You cannot support a common negotiation when it comes to common agricultural policy. You talked about monitoring. The independent justice did not follow that issue, did not look extra in that. Right now in Greece we have a democracy. this surveillance scandal, that problem, of course, was not followed more by the justice. However, we should have a consensus that would include all political parties. With New Democracy, as it is today, no, I cannot achieve consensus with New Democracy because they don't have trustworthiness. How can we start a dialogue with them? Maybe we can achieve consensus when it comes to the socialists in Greece. Now, when it comes to national interests, when it comes to the interests of farmers, we can vote with them in the European Parliament. However, but how can we work with them since they work against the interest of the farmers? In my opinion, the national interest right now is for that government to step down. The existence of society should be based on consensus and collaboration. People like to hear about consensus, and with working together, we have resolved a lot of problems. For example, Ambelakia, that village near Larissa, was a very good example during the Ottoman regime in Greece. So, collaborative practice as a core of progress should come back and should become trustworthy again. Collaborations are vital, and in my opinion, collaboration doesn't mean just dialogue, but also common action. This government should step down. And who? Who should come? Should we leave the far-right political parties to take the government? Because right now the society is afraid, is angry. I saw a survey yesterday that says that this government is corrupted, is very corrupted. They are not trustworthy at all. So, society is angry. That anger should become a productive force for our society. We cannot stay there with our anger forever. We don't want to go back towards the past. We don't want to go to the road that was paved by President Trump in the States. The Progressive Alliance should find a new way forward. So Syriza wants to have common action, not just collaboration and dialogue, common action and a common we should come together as one formation in the European elections with the other socialist parties. You have been very specific in your introductory remark. Do you want also to become more specific in this closing remark? You came to Larissa and you are very prepared. And you are prepared. Tsipras will be one of those questions. Do you believe that Alexis Tsipras, will be the one that will be leading that joint list of candidates that you proposed? You haven't criticized Mr. Tsipras so far. That is unthinkable as far as I am concerned. This is not an option for me. Syriza will take that initiative. Could you care to elaborate? From the first day that I assumed my responsibilities without any hesitation whatsoever and without any ego, knowing that my first responsibility is to strengthen Syriza. Since Syriza is a guarantee for the progressive solution in Greece, because we are not isolated, because we wanted to break down those barriers. We don't want to have barriers in the progressive area, we have submitted a proposal for collaboration, me personally and my party, starting from January, when I asked to have a common candidate for the president of democracy. And we proposed Mrs. Thessaly. When I mentioned last January to the need to have a common list of candidates to the next elections. Maybe it was too early. It was too early. I was the president only for 1 month. Now we keep proposing that as a political party. It is towards PASOK and Nea Arisτερά, the new left. We have read their programs, and I know that the differences are very slight when it comes to the strategic opportunity for Greece to have a progressive government. I know that some people are stalling, some people are saying no. I believe that this is bad for the society and this is bad for citizens, not for Syriza. Oh, the people ask me, there was a lady that told me we will change planets if this will continue. And people are right. People are right. Therefore, we should overcome the political party boundaries. Syriza is proposing a specific progressive alliance where everyone is important, because we should motivate hundreds of thousands of disappointed progressive citizens who believe to democracy and who are still active. So we want to invite all the citizens that want to work here, want for our country to progress. So Syriza believes that we should sit around the same table, that we will agree to a progressive list of candidates, we will have common action, we will have a parliamentary expression, because people cannot stand to this dystopia of the Mitsotakis government. Alexis Tsipras, right now, you can also, when you want to go to the international politics, you should also speak English. Is there anybody out there, is my question, who is listening to you? Does anybody care for your proposal? Society is asking for that collaboration. Every day, people keep asking me for that. This is a request coming from the society. They ask me, who is the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room is the fact that if we come all together as an alliance, we will become government. People need to get the feeling that this is a viable option. Syriza is going to take the initiative, and despite the negative answers and the stalls from other political parties, we want to focus on what is best for our citizens, for their community, because some people say that if they believe that if they give us a negative answer, they would insult us. No, they insult the society, not us. This proposal for the collaboration is alive. There was a meeting in Pallini the other day, or in Patras, in various areas. This will also take place here in Larissa. So society wants it. Mr. Androulakis is saying no for the time being. I believe that this is a mistake, but the people of PASOK want it, because they want to lead the right, the new democracy out of the government. And also some people from the new left want it. We are here, we have made this proposal very seriously, and our younger people, they need a better country. Alexis Tsipras.
Γιατί δεν με πειράζει.
We don't have the only privilege for questions. So, Tsipras spoke very specifically when I took responsibility for this necessity So there is no elephant in the room. My opinion, and I've spoken for this publicly, that we need a unity, we need a common consensus. So there is no limit to wait, there is no limit for retard. The political parties should give an answer to the society, because we need to have a progressive plan. We should, and we're all consensus in Syriza. And let me tell you that Alexis Tsipras is the Prime Minister of Syriza, apart from the fact that he participates in many fora and he is very active. He is the Prime Minister of Syriza. So, as you have already listened, the governor should go. Do we have any questions? You can start, but you are off microphone, so the booth cannot hear. Good afternoon. A very short question, and I need a very short answer, because up until now you are... Since you don't have an opponent within the room, I want to say a few things. A few months ago, of your political party at a farming meeting at Trikala had said that, at a private meeting, that the goal of Syriza is not the stock breeding world, because they traditionally vote for the political party of New Democracy. So I would like very much to hear your point of view, and I was very frustrated by this point of view, so I would like to hear you. I would like to hear if you are for this opinion. And as far as this opinion is concerned, I would like to ask you that you had to initiative the stock breeders and the public employees. Who comes first? So I have to differentiate my opinion for two times. So Syriza was against its president. So we need for Greece, for the stock breeders, to have a common policy. So this is a vicious circle. I cannot choose stock breeders or the public employees. You know what? We both need the public sector. The stock breeder needs the public sector. I don't want for the stock breeder to suffer. So for the good products, we need good public policies and good public services. So I blame the government of Mitsotakis. You can start, but you're off microphone, so the interpreting booth cannot hear you. I know that you are against with the transportation of the water. I cannot hear. The speaker is off microphone and we cannot hear.
Δεν έχω προσωπικές αιμονές και δεν είχα ποτέ στη ζωή μου. Και έχω πάρα πολύ διευρυμένη ανάγνωση. Δεν έχω λοιπόν προσωπική θέση.
I don't have a personal point of view. There is a point of view expressed by the government of Syriza against the problem of the water. And it was completed here in Larissa, a plan of irrigation management. And if it has been completed, the negative results would be minor. But unfortunately, it hasn't been completed. So the costs were multiple. And it was translated not only in a stock breeder capital, but also in human life. So, when, as far as these plans are delayed, the rights of the citizens in Thessaly are ruined as well, are violated as well. So, I cannot promote a future that can never come. I speak for now. That's the reason why there are no plants here in Thessaly. I would like to ask, I think that the absence of Mr. Kellas is really an offense. It's really an offense for the forum. I think that it is the time that Mr. Kellas and all the people like him are going to hide. I'm going to ask you what you're going to change to the primary sector in relation with what you had done when you were government. I must admit, and I think that you have already known that when we were government, we were limited as far as the financial, let's say, rules that came with the bankruptcy. For example, I have talked to you about a program here in Thessaly, that it was necessary for the infrastructures, for the watering, that now is manageable, but back then it was impossible to be implemented. The financial tools so arrived after 2018, and it was back then that they had to be used.
Δεν μπορεί ο θεσσαλικός κάμπος να είναι θερμοκήπιο με φωτοβολταϊκά. Πρέπει να βγάζει καλά προϊόντα, να έχουν ονομασία προέλευσης, να
The Thessaly land should produce high quality product.
Υποθηκεύουμε το μέλλον. Και προφανώς θα καρπούσαμε τον οδύθαλ θα έψιλο. Τα έργα πρέπει να είναι δημόσια, αρδευτικά και να έχουν φτηνό νερό οι αγρότες. Και όχι να τους κοροϊδεύουν. Γι' αυτό δυστυχώς γίνεται. Είναι πάρα πολλά όμως. Θέλω να σας πω ότι
all the projects should be public and financed by the state, and also protect the farmers and the suppliers as well. What we need is for this government to step down. I must admit that this current winter will be extremely difficult. We should do something. Thank you very much. Thank you, the audience. Mr. Balakakis, congratulations for this first day of the conference. We are waiting for you tomorrow. If you're not able to come to the meeting tomorrow, please let your friends know that something very nice and inspiring happens here. Thank you very much. Have a very good night.